Welcome to the 2018 AT&T Business Summit. I'm Des Blanchfield. We're here in Dallas on the Innovation Showcase floor. I have the pleasure of being joined by Robert Boyanovsky. You're the Vice President for Enterprise Mobility at AT&T Business.
Yeah, that's correct. Thanks for joining us all the way from Australia here in Dallas, Texas.
Indeed, and I have a good authority, in fact, from yourself, that you've actually been in Australia for a while yourself.
Yeah, I spent 3 years there as a junior from my 9th grade to my 11th grade in high school, and it was a great time. I can't wait to get back with the family.
Fantastic. Well, Australians are famous for claiming many things as theirs, so we're going to now call you an honorary Australian.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Robert, enterprise mobility, 5G is a really hot topic. I would like to delve into a few of the details that you're, I guess, looking forward to bringing to the market in the short to medium term, but specifically at this event. Maybe just give us a couple of the highlights of what you've got on show here and some of the things that people can look forward to this week at the AT&T Business Summit 2018.
Yeah, it's a great question, and for this year, 2018, it's been a lot of build-up and hype around 5G. We've been talking about it for several years. It was, the next unicorn, but this thing is happening this year. We're really excited about it. We're going to have it at AT&T the first US-based mobile network deployed at the end of this year. We've announced 12 cities this year. We've announced another 7 more next year.
Wow.
And it's really exciting. These Gs come about once every decade, so we're about ready to birth the next G.
The next big one.
It is super exciting. For us in business, we're really focused on solving business problems and solving business outcomes. It's not about speeds and feeds. It's really about solving situations that they can't solve today with the current technology, whether that's Wi-Fi or fixed services. Really mobilizing the enterprise is what we're about.
So we've seen the 5G standard come out of 3GPP. There's been a number of really exciting things that have happened since then with next generation radio that people have been building in the labs, and I know you've done some amazing innovative stuff in that space. And I think we've heard a lot about what's happening at the standards level and the technology level. I would really love to focus on the enterprise piece. I think there's a lot of desire to learn about what you're doing in the enterprise space, and I guess some of the challenges you're facing out there. Where are you seeing the greatest demand? Are people interested in I guess, the security and the compliance and the control element, or are they mostly interested in the technology and the deployment of IoT and autonomous vehicles and all of those things that we can now do with the high throughput, low latency that 5G brings about? Where are you seeing the hot interest?
Yeah, it's a good question. This last week we announced that we made our first mobile call over a 5G network on Qualcomm's chip, and that was pretty exciting. It's a first, and over the Ericsson new radio. Okay, and so this network, what's really cool about it, it's being born in a software-defined network.
Right.
So this is not like LTE the way you knew it. And so what that does for enterprises, they're excited about keeping their own cellular data locally and managing it inside their 4 walls. Enterprises typically have had questions around in-building coverage depending on the spectrum propagation, and that's been some challenges in the past. This conversation isn't about voice quality penetrating the buildings. It's about how do I connect to all of my people, my process, my things with these sensors, and use that data locally and manage it for the applications that solve their business problems. And so we are seeing interest from our customers talking to us about operational efficiencies in the factory floor that they just can't get to. Untethering the robot is an example. Putting environmental sensors out there for chemical to be able to kind of sniff the air quality and alert employees for situations that they need to respond to quickly. So we're seeing very specific manufacturing verticals heat up, which is pretty exciting. I think that's the first test bed for us to go prove out.
One of the themes, or I guess the theme of the 2018 edition of the AT&T Business Summit is edge to edge. 5G really makes that possible, doesn't it?
It does.
When we sort of think about from 2nd to 3rd generation, we went from radio to slightly digital. From 3rd to 4th generation, I think we saw streaming and video and voice. 5G is going to take it to the next level. I mean, we can watch Netflix on 4G relatively well. I mean, the speed that 5G brings about is one thing, but the low latency makes so much more possible, right? I mean, autonomous vehicles are effectively now possible because we can get something, the response time and the low latency return time. the organizations you're working with, though, I mean, what are some of the more exciting things you're seeing people thinking about? I mean, we hear about autonomous vehicles, we hear about IoT. On the floor here, you've got FirstNet, you've got retail transformation, you've got medicine, finance. There's some big industry sectors there, but I mean, are there any outliers that we wouldn't have expected that maybe came to you and went, we're in X, Y, Z, we're a hospital, that's our core business, we don't really want to be a telco specialist, we don't want to think about security. What are some of the ones that you may not have expected to come out of the woodwork you've seen?
Well, there's a lot in each of the verticals that you mentioned. We also announced this week in our Plano foundry that we're putting 5G in there as a vertical proof of concept to do co-collaboration with our customers, which is where a lot of the business problems show up and some of these new use cases come out. One of the things that we did internal at AT&T in our stores is, we mobilized the point of sale, okay? And it used to be, you shuffle to the back, you get in line, queue up, process a transaction. That's been all, put on a tablet. It was a Wi-Fi solution for a while, but as you kind of hop in and out of the storeroom to grab the next cool device for your customer, you kind of lose that handoff to the access point.
Right.
So cellular inherently has a little bit better handoff, in the network, and so we are, moving that off of Wi-Fi into cellular. Now, once you do that and you put in kind of this new software network that we're talking about, you can differentiate your experience. So now imagine you walk into an AT&T retail store, we can all of a sudden figure out who you are, by your device type. We can cache video locally with our DirecTV products and push content and experiences to the customer, either promotional or just video content to help them understand what the products we are while they're waiting in line in the store.
And I imagine 5G enables a lot of that in that, streaming all of that content on 3 was impossible, 4 was difficult, 5G now you've got that multi-layer capability. And so we've got, I guess, a number of exciting things where we're sort of seeing voice calls become video calls, become web real-time communications, web applications. One of the things that you mentioned earlier, though, when we were talking, was enterprises have been struggling to really get the mobility piece right, in my mind. They've had BYOD, they've sort of teared down some of the firewall thinking and gotten rid of that sort of, wall and moat mentality that Kevin Jackson talked about in a recent report was published with AT&T. But now we're sort of seeing that security's got to move with me. Wherever I am, I need to be secure. Where are the big wins in enterprise mobility with 5G and how people are leveraging that? Or how are they talking to you about what they want to leverage?
Yeah, outside of the kind of person-to-person communication, most of the customers we're talking about for enterprise 5G really are looking for their data to stay locally.
Right.
We talked about latency and where kind of the network compute is at. With a hybrid solution using some of the new standards, either MEC or the CUP standards coming out of 3GPP, allows us at AT&T and our customers to keep, the data to drive the connectivity off one hop away, but also give the customer, the data that they need. And a lot of times they don't want that traversing anywhere. Right. They want it staying local. So that gives them local control and a lot more security around all their endpoints that they're managing.
Thanks for talking on camera about it and what we expect, and we'll look forward to all the news and the media as it's released to the rest of the world. Thank you very much again, Robert.
Thank you, Des. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Thanks.